and they're 50% more likely to trust it than other sources of media. It's like a review on steroids, you know? It's like most businesses know that they need to go after those 5-star reviews, but having someone post about your business online to their own audience, not to someone who's searching for yours, I mean, you can't ask for any more than that.
Welcome to the Neon Buzz, where we offer marketing advice for oral, aesthetic, and other elective healthcare professionals. Sit back and relax while we share our digital marketing secrets to help you grow your practice.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Neon Buzz. I'm Alan. This is Katie.
Hi.
And today we're going to be having a discussion about putting the social back in social media.
My favorite topic.
So, Katie, I have something to tell you.
Okay.
I have an anniversary coming up in December later on this year, and you know what anniversary that is?
No.
20 years since I joined Facebook. Can you believe that's been around that long?
No.
I mean, that's a pretty long time.
You've got 10 years on me.
That's very true. So when I first started using it, you know, I was at a college, you know, your parents weren't on there yet, grandparents weren't on there yet. It's gone through so many changes. And really about 10 years ago, I was working at a private K through 12 school when really people started using Facebook for businesses or for organizations. Not just to be friends, but to somehow create an identity online.
Sure.
And during that time, I had a lot of success with it. I ended up growing, at the time, the largest Facebook following of any private K through 12 school in the whole state of Tennessee.
So you're famous.
Well, no, nobody really knew that. But I also would track my competition and find that my engagement of our post would tend to get either 3 times to almost 10 times that of a lot of our direct competitors in the area. So I found a lot of success, but that was a long time ago.
Probably not everybody's even thinking about strategy back then. So you had sort of a leg up.
Yeah,
you know?
pretty much. But the thing is now it's completely different. Stuff we did 10 years ago won't really work. I mean, there's some basic concepts that maybe never changed for social media, but for the most part, so many algorithm changes have happened over the years, time after time. And so now it's like a completely different game. So your role here in Neon Canvas, you specifically deal with social media on a day-to-day basis with our clients. Tell everybody what your role is and some of the things that you do for folks we work with.
Well, my role certainly would not have existed 20 years ago. It's very heavily based in strategy, but I'm meeting with clients on a monthly basis to tell them, you know, what we can improve on, what they can work on their social media, and what's working for them currently. We're going over analytics, numbers, planning out their posts, all sorts of things. It's very much one-on-one coaching. So I feel like I'm qualified to have this conversation. And I've also been running, you know, the Neon Canvas accounts for 2 years now, coming up on. And again, I grew up on the internet. I've been doing this forever. Nothing under 20 years on Facebook, but I'm trying to get there. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited about our conversation. I think we're going to have some very good tangible action items to help people who are really venturing into the social media space.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that we really want to talk about how we put social back into social media because there's some things people have done wrong with it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they've misused how to use Facebook versus Instagram versus TikTok. And so we want to talk about that. And I know throughout our conversation, you're going to have some stats for me.
Yes, my favorite part.
To kind of back that stuff up. So I guess let's start with the question, you know, what is social media? What is it not?
It's a good question. I think people, when they are either first starting on social media or they, you know, in an office, they have multiple roles and social media has become, you know, part of their job description. They think about all of the rules on how they would run maybe their own social media. But it's a lot different for businesses. There's so much strategy, like we're talking about, behind the scenes into what makes things succeed versus not. So social media for a business is not ads all the time. There's a difference. There's, you know, organic strategy, which is not paid, and then there's your ad strategy. So there's a time and place for it. But ad fatigue, huge. If we're all only posting ads on social media, it's going to lead straight to ad fatigue. One of the stats that I love to pull out is the attention span. We talk about it all the time that with Gen Z, it's like getting a lot shorter. What do you think is the attention span on a short form video that you have to like grab somebody's
Oh man,
attention?
a long time ago, I used to always kind of plan videos around if you can't grab them in the first like 10 seconds. I got
Mm-hmm.
a hunch it's shorter now. I don't know how short to guess. I'm tempted to say 5, but I'll probably say 3.
It's still not low enough. It's 1.7
Oh,
seconds. Isn't that crazy? Wild.
that, what can you even do in a second? That's really
I
amazing.
mean,
Yeah.
that's why where you're on Facebook and the reels will show you that first little snippet that will hook your attention. It's that 1.7 seconds. It's why people put bloopers at the beginning of their videos so that you want to watch to the end. 1.7 seconds.
So when you say ad fatigue,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about one of the ways that I don't enjoy using something like a Facebook is when like I've been on there connected to my friends and they were posting about their kids or
Yeah.
on vacation or fun things that are happening in their life, and then all of a sudden one day they start selling vitamins or
Yeah, and like an
some kind of
MLM.
health product or whatever, and
Yeah.
every post is now about like, hey, try this product, and then they
Yeah.
start messaging you or something like that to try, and all of a sudden that kind of ruins like the experience for me.
Yes.
Is that the type of ad fatigue you're talking about? Or are you talking about like actual like ads that are like paid advertisements or like?
Definitely, I think more the first option.
Okay.
It's more so that everyday social media use has become so integrated with ads. Influencers and, like you're saying, MLMs are all over social media. And so, in that 1.7 seconds, you have to get their attention in a way that tells them that you're not an ad. There's so many subliminal things that make it look like an ad. If your logo is on it in the wrong spot, there's so many different things. Because it is so integrated in the way that our organic social media is, it's so important that it's very clear that you are not trying to sell 24/7.
Okay, so we kind of touched on what social media is not, maybe
Yeah.
a way not to use it. So at its basic concept, what is it like at its foundation?
I like to, for businesses, think about social media as a landing page.
Okay.
A lot of people are going to focus on the numbers, how many followers you have, your engagement rate, things like that. And it's certainly important. But to answer your question at the most basic level, it's a landing page. Your son needs braces. Your friend gives you 3 names of an orthodontist. You are going to go look at all 3 of their, social media platforms.
Definitely, yeah.
Another one of my favorite statistics is the amount of people that go to social media instead of a search engine as their first instinct when they're searching. How many people out of 10 do you think are going to go to social versus a search engine?
So like I would end up going, when you say social, what are my options on platforms?
Like you're going to go to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook to search,
Okay.
orthodontist in my area, or not even about, medical practice, but
versus
in general.
going to Google.
Versus going to Google, yes.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
You said? I would probably say 7 out of 10.
Okay, pretty close.
Okay.
8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, a growing number. Definitely contributes to, Gen Z's contributing to that number for sure. And platforms like TikTok, which are actually search engines. There's definitely been search features on Facebook and Instagram before, but TikTok is a search engine in and of itself.
And I've heard that YouTube now is the second
Yep.
most popular search engine,
Yep.
which they're
YouTube
also
too.
owned by Google. So I guess, yeah.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
yes. But yeah, I would say that I would see it at its most basic level as a landing page. You might not always know when someone's going to be seeing your social media because they might not be following. They might just be stopping by, and they should have a full glimpse of what your business is about.
Okay.
All within, 10 seconds of looking at your page, they should have a good idea.
So in that kind of scenario, the number of followers may not be quite as important because,
Yeah.
it's about new people finding you and finding something that gives them an idea of your personality, of your office, your practice, whatever it is. So that's at its base. I mean,
Yeah.
in some ways you can say it's kind of like an easy to use personal, glorified like personal web page in a way.
Yeah.
But social media is more than that because we have
Yes.
websites for that. So tell me, like, if that's what it is at its base kind of bottom level concept, if it's more than that, what does that look like? Maybe social media at its fullest potential.
This is the social and social media part, is the community you have online.
Okay.
If you are doing all the things right, you have a group of people who are engaged in your content and what you have to say. They may not even be a potential customer for you. They might just enjoy your content, but they're going to be interacting with it. You don't have to ask them to do much, and they're invested in every single thing that you're going to be putting out. That's why it's important to be active on there in your comments, for example. It's a good PR move, Somebody who is coming to look sees that, a real person is answering people's comments. People are posting on their stories, asking good questions, telling good stories, and you feel like you have that insider information. So that is it at its best. You're going to get people who are also, sharing things on their own. You don't have to ask them. I don't know if you saw recently that the CEO of Instagram came out and said that shares per reach is the most important metric in your content ranking on Instagram.
Wow. So not like the number of likes or comments.
Yeah. Not the number of likes and comments. And you mentioned earlier, algorithm always changing. This is kind of like a huge hint, actually, that of what we need to be aiming for. So a huge way to get shares is by tagging people in your posts.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked about this recently on our own social media and dropped a few hacks in there. But this is a really great way to get people to share your posts, is by tagging them in yours. And in turn, they might tag you in theirs. And it's just adds on to that community aspect of it all.
All right. So speaking of tagging, as being one of the best ways to use social media, I hear that another way is that to get people to talk about you like on their own. I've heard that maybe referred to as like UGC.
Yeah, user generated content.
So tell me something about that. You got any stats on that stuff?
Yeah. So. The best way to use social media is to get other people talking about you. And it's really interesting that millennials, 35% of them find that UGC is more memorable than any other form of media. And they're 50% more likely to trust it than other sources of media. It's like a review on steroids, It's like most businesses know that they need to go after those 5-star reviews, but having someone post about your business online to their own audience, not to someone who's searching for yours, I mean, you can't ask for any more than that. I think part of the struggle is, how do you get people to post you online? So I have a few helpful things.
Well, before that, it sounds like from what you said that that's what people remember, that there's a huge population that remembers that. I mean, reviews can always be good or bad.
Sure.
So do you feel like if somebody posts a negative review, like on their own, like people pay attention to that like even more than just like it popping up maybe somewhere on Google or something like that? It's like
100%.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen those videos that go viral of someone complaining about,
an airline or something
exactly.
like that. Yeah.
I was just about to say that. And people are, they watch the whole video and then they're fired up and then they go tag the brand in the comments.
Right.
And then, you've got all these people. It's really important to do some social listening to notice when you're being talked about online, because it is not always good all of the time. And it's important to know when and how to respond. But yeah, it is that memorable.
Okay. So when you do have some of your customers create this content that says good things about you, hopefully.
Yes.
What do you do with that? Like, how do you go about using that content in a way they've made it, but then how can you benefit from it in like other ways?
I think the most common way that I see people use UGC for businesses is on their stories. It's a really casual way. It doesn't take a lot of effort to, say, had a great experience here, or this is my favorite thing to do in this place.
And when you say stories, what's the difference between a story and a post?
A story only lives for 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That part like kind of up at the top where...
Yep. It's at the top of your screen. On Facebook, it's also like right there at the top of your feed. And TikTok also has stories. They're not as used and they don't work in the exact same way.
Do you feel like right now, I mean, I know it's always changing, but do you feel like if somebody created a story that their followers would be much more likely to see that as opposed to if they created it as a post? Or is it about the same now?
It totally depends. People click through stories really, really fast. I put more casual content up on there
Okay.
where it's not like something that needs to live forever on your page. It's a great place to tease something that's coming, but something that, maybe doesn't need to be on your landing page forever
Okay.
would be on your story. Yeah. And so I feel like people oftentimes will post their, user-generated content, their reviews about a place on their story. You as the business, I mean, that's only half the battle is getting it, but then what do you do with it? It's really important to not only, to repost it, to share it on your own story, especially if they've tagged you on it, but to then not just say thank you. If I am, watching the Neon Canvas story and they, one of our clients is talking about us online and we say thanks, I as a follower have no reason to be interested in what this person has said versus if I as Neon Canvas were to say, Alan has been a client of ours for 4 years. It's so cool to see how our relationship has grown and how much we've been able to help him grow his business. He just opened a second office and we are so excited for him. Cool. It's a short little story. It's a personal touch. And now I, as the third party follower, I'm like, oh, go Alan, not just thanks.
All right. So there's situations like that where they've created it, they've taken their own initiative to do it. How can you help more people do that? Because I know sometimes maybe people just don't think about doing it, or maybe they feel like they don't have a reason. I mean, you'd have to like really make them happy for them to take the initiative to do that. Are there some ways that we've been able to like help our clients incentivize or somehow like give the nudge to their customers to create that content or like help facilitate the creation of it?
Yes. Signage is huge. In the same way that you'd put signs up in your office asking for reviews, letting them know that you're even on social media and that you're active in it is a really great way to get the word out. Think about all the moms sitting in a waiting room at a doctor's office,
Right.
They're just la-di-da, looking around for something to do. Another great thing to put on there is, want to get involved with us on social media. If you want to be featured on social media, let us know. That kind of creates this like snowball effect where, I certainly, when I was in getting orthodontic treatment, I knew friends who went to the same orthodontist that I had, and we would talk about it, and I would see their photo up in the office and think, oh, cool, I know that person. If you as an office can have your patients coming to you saying, put me on there, I want to be on there, or, it snowballs. Then they have their own ideas for things that you can share, and you're listening to your community, and it's a very socially oriented process. So also using that verbiage to your patients, saying, in the office, you're collecting content all the time. If you want to be featured, let us know. It's important. I think a lot of offices too will have like one person that's supposed to collect all of the content. Let your team know that that's an objective for the practice and that anybody can be collecting content so that your patients, they're in the bay, they're seeing all of this, happening. So-and-so's getting their photo taken. Can we get a video with you? And they're watching all of that happen and they become part of the process. I think that's a huge, huge part. Another one of my favorite things to tell practices is about airdropping. So you're collecting all this content, right? But like mom's in there to, hear about how your checkup went. Say, hey, can I airdrop these to you? If you share them, make sure you tag us so that we can give it a like. You're doing the work for them. They're not collecting. You're, giving them a little nudge to, hey, share it, talk about us, let us know. And they think, cool, would love to, really great way. Airdropping has been really successful for a lot of clients. That's always what I love hearing feedback on when I meet with a client the next month. How did it go? Really great and actionable item. The last thing I think is an email signature. If your treatment coordinator, office manager is emailing people, put in your email signature, follow us on social or want to get involved in our social media, let us know. Again, just keeping the conversation going about how your social media is social.
So it sounds like being proactive and asking for it, whether it's in person or
Yeah.
on a sign or just everywhere they would look, you're constantly reminding them rather than just sitting back and kind of like hoping maybe one day somebody posts something
Yes.
positive about us. Then
Exactly. Yeah, you
okay.
got to tell them what to do without telling them exactly what to do. Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, you just gave us a whole list of like great actual items. It sounds to me like, anybody who takes these and puts these into practice will probably start to see an uptick of their social media
Yeah.
really kind of creating more eyes on them, more positive interaction versus it just being that stale kind of page that people kind of never visit.
Yeah, take it
In
to
the
the
first
next
place.
level
Okay.
for sure.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for sharing all those points with us. If people want to find out more points like this or more ideas, what should they do? Can they get in contact with us? What should they look at to?
I mean, follow us anywhere on socials. We're at Neon Canvas everywhere. You can DM. I'll probably be the one answering.
Okay.
Yeah, we post a lot of social tips on our social media because it is something actionable that people can do. So give us a follow there. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully you've got a few ideas that'll help you get your social media going in the right direction. That's about all we've got time for today. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Neon Buzz.